28th, I filed a grievance regarding Robert Nappe.
You're not public, you're addressing the commission and the union.
Yeah.
Item is not on the agenda.
I know. You just asked for public comment.
No? It's not a public comment as far as I'm concerned.
Public comment is anything according to Robert's Rule of Order.
You just said you're representing the union.
And that's not a public.
It's not on the agenda. It's not going to be added to the agenda until we get a ruling from either the Civil Service Commission, I mean not the Civil Service, from the FOI Commission or an attorney. Now, it's my understanding, I got a call today that there was going to be an attorney here representing the board. And I asked if anyone's here, and no one is here. And I was going to ask that question tonight from the legal attorney. So, Mr. Hongo called me.
Labor issues have nothing to do with court cases.
Sorry?
In this particular case, this is a labor issue.
I don't, but the issue
It's a contract labor issue.
The issue that I have is that whether the union has standing in the matter since he was hired illegally. And I need an interpretation from either the FOI or a legal attorney from the town.
Here's the key word there, Commissioner. He was hired. Therefore, he...
But if he was hired illegally, he wasn't hired. And that's the issue. It's a
opinion
legal
that
issue.
he was hired.
I don't want to get into an argument with you, but all I need is a ruling. And I asked for it a week ago. They said I was going to have it tonight, and I don't have it.
Okay. Last May, you also told me that the reason it wasn't on the agenda, part of the contract says it must be on the next upcoming police commission agenda.
Right.
You told me it's because you called Paul Hongo in the town hall and he never called you back.
Right, because
In fact, I talked to him and he did call you back.
he never called me back. I talked to him last Wednesday.
His advice to you was to call me and ask for an extension. I never received a call from you asking for that extension to get that grievance.
Because he told me he was going to get me an attorney to rule, and I don't need an extension if I get a ruling. Now, you sent me a letter saying that you were going to file at the next level, MPP, right? Am I correct? Did you indicate to me that if we didn't act on it,
If you refuse to put this on the agenda, I will be filing an MPP.
Okay, and if I can't get a ruling from a town attorney, then I welcome that.
Deny the grievance and let it go to the next step.
No, I'm not going to even accept the grievance because I don't believe it's legal. Understand what I'm saying? Well, I need a legal. The town won't give me an attorney to give me a legal ruling. FOI did not act on my request yet. I need someone of legal authority to tell me that it is legal. That's all. And I was supposed to get somebody tonight, and I don't know where he is. I talked to Mr. Hongo today. He said there was going to be an attorney.
You recognize this is a clear violation of the contract.
No, I don't recognize that.
The contract says you will hear the grievance at the next commissioners meeting.
If it's a legal grievance.
Do you in fact know what the contract says, Commissioner?
I'm questioning whether it's a legal grievance.
My question to you is, do you even know what the contract says? Have you ever read it?
I do.
Okay.
But I'm saying that I don't believe it's a legal issue until I get a ruling. I don't have a ruling. I'm a layperson. I'm not an attorney.
It's a grievance. You recognize the fact. You recognize the fact that the grievances are supposed to be heard at the next commissioners meeting.
But if the union has no standing in it, then it doesn't have the right to file a grievance.
Well, that's not up. That's what would be. Then you'd let arbitration decide.
No, I'm going to let somebody tell me before I hear it. That's all I'm asking. I'm not denying it, and I'm not granting it. I'm asking someone to give me a legal opinion, and I can't get that. I don't know why I can't. I was told today I was going to get it tonight. And I was going to add it to the agenda if I got the legal, but I don't have it, so I'm sorry.
I'd like to make a motion to add it to the agenda tonight.
Second.
That we hear the grievance.
And I'd like to make a comment before we add anything to the agenda. I would like to request, and it is my opinion, that Commissioner Frank Pettigrosio was working with Robert Nappe as a police officer at the time before his retirement. I do not feel that he is non-biased in this issue. So therefore, it is my opinion that he should not vote on any issues pertaining to Robert Nappe because he is his friend.
Okay, again, this is another issue.
Chairman, there's a second on the motion.
And we're discussing it.
Second. You're asking him to step aside.
Right, on this motion. And we're discussing the motion.
Because he's working.
Okay, and what I'm going to say again is, I can't verify that, or I can't say yes or no until I get a legal opinion. If we had an attorney here, I can ask the attorney what Commissioner Wright is asking.
May I ask a question?
I don't have it, not yet. Please. There's a motion on and we're discussing the motion. I have a question.
You get a legal opinion.
No, I have a question here.
Grievance will give you a legal opinion.
No, not, the grievance will not
This
give,
is separate from the.
no, I'm on a legal opinion whether I should even hear the grievance.
No, I
You're
want to
misunderstanding the whole point.
I want to make it
You're misunderstanding the whole point. Okay, there's a motion on the floor to bring it to the agenda. We have a,
What is the actual wording of what you want to put on this?
he's making a motion that we add this to the agenda.
The grievance?
Can we hear the grievance?
Can we hear the grievance? He's going to ask the motion.
And I have asked, and I,
mean, I can't answer that.
Roll vote, please.
Roll call roll.
well, we need a legal opinion.
Chairman Romano,
No.
Vice Chairman Grouse,
Yes.
Commissioner Piegrosi,
yes.
Commissioner Civitello,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
No.
Okay.
And I would like to make a statement right
Wait a minute,
now.
Frank, let me,
No, this is very serious as far as I'm concerned. If there's a question about my integrity on this board because I worked with someone, well, I guess there's 28,000 people that I know in the town, so maybe I shouldn't be here.
all right. I understand your concern, Frank. But
My concern
there's
is
a
very
motion.
valid.
There was a motion.
I'm not going to have my integrity questioned at a public forum.
All right. There's a motion on the floor. 3 in favor, 2 against. It requires a majority, which is more than 3 votes. It does not carry.
I'd like to
I'd like to
comment.
correct him then, sir. Majority, if that's what you're saying, did
No,
carry.
it's required 2/3 vote on any, to add anything to the
You
agenda.
didn't say that, you said a majority.
No, I said it.
I'd like to go on the record. The grievance is viable because the officer was rehired. Contract says that the board, in a timely fashion, should hear the grievance at step 2. Regardless, at this point, we don't know what the Freedom of Information Commission is going to determine on the June 3rd meeting. The man was rehired. He was terminated or let go. He has a viable labor grievance. We don't need to wait for a legal opinion on whether or not the meeting was legal, illegal, improperly held, or otherwise. The contract says we should hear the grievance. We should hear the grievance.
It's not a question of the grievance. It's a question whether this will be added to the agenda. It doesn't carry the mandate to put on the agenda, so it's not on the agenda. It's as simple as that. It requires 4 votes to be added to the agenda. It's as simple as that. So it's not on the agenda. Let's go to the next item. Correspondence. I'm sorry? Yes, we are.
Attorney Louis Krisky. I'm also a citizen here in town of East Haven. I'm also a member of the Civil Service Commission. And I'd like to point out to the commission that the Judge Silbert, has previously found that although Mr. Nappe returned to work for 2 days, he was not rehired. I also like to point out that in order for him to be rehired and be an employee of this town, he requires the approval of the Civil Service Commission under Rule 10. And he was not given that approval. Therefore, he's technically not an employee. Do with it what you wish.
I don't want to get into the legality of that. You have your board and you're handling that. All I'm trying to do is run this board, and I know it requires 4 votes to put on the agenda, and it's not on the agenda.
I'm sitting in that information.
Thank you.
I have a question for Mr. Christie. You sit on the Ethics Panel and the Civil Service Commission?
That's correct.
You see any conflict
No.
in that? There's no conflict.
There's no conflict.
Okay, any other public comment?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Bob Nappe. And I must say, I've been pretty magnanimous with you people over the last few months. And at this point in the juncture, I'd like to say something because you said something that offends me very much. The question, Frank Piegrosi and his integrity was wrong. That was wrong. No matter how long I've known this man, if I was doing something that wasn't right, he would not be backing me on it. The fact that I am doing something that's right, I have his support. But I'll be damned if I'm going to sit by and have someone question this man's integrity, which I hold very dearly.
I did not
Number
question
one.
his integrity.
That's number one. I have the floor. Thank you. Number 2, I would like it stated, in case you didn't know it already, When I served my year in Iraq, I served it for the government of the United States. I served it with honor and courage. And I also supported this town while I was there. And I represented East Haven in a very honorable way. You can ask anyone from that organization, number one. And I'm not a rehire, I'm being reinstated as far as Mr. Christie is concerned. He's wrong there also.
As far as I'm concerned, you're not being reinstated.
It doesn't matter what civil service says.
No one is claiming you didn't go in Iraq. No one is claiming anything. There's a lot of legal issues here, and that's what we're discussing. Now, do you have something to add to that?
No, I just wanted that stated. Thank you
We
very much for your
understand.
time.
You're quite welcome.